Arizona Daily Star.
Hey there, Jackson.
What's up? How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. Can't complain.
What has it been like to get this much playing time on defense for the first time in your career, really?
Man, I just blessed for the opportunity. The injury set me back last year, so I didn't really play football too much since high school. So it's just really feel like I'm back in my own nature, back getting familiar with the defense and, just the college atmosphere, trying to get used to it.
Sure. You were battling, I want to say Christian Young was the guy at your position primarily in training camp. Is that right?
Yeah.
You were probably maybe even the underdog heading into camp. How did you approach that competition?
It's just all friendly competition. At the end of the day, we want to play football. We want to be in the spotlight. We want to, just compete, get your name out there. CY has a big impact on the program already. He has built his name for himself very well. So, I just want to put my name out there and just go hard. That's all I know.
Did you set any goals for yourself heading into camp?
Yeah, one of my goals was just make a name for myself, really so people know who Jaxen Turner is and what he's capable of doing.
Sure. Coach, someone said that you've been playing a little bit hurt. Is that the shoulder that's still bothering you, or is that something else?
Nah, my shoulder's fine actually. Successful surgery. Just a little nicked up, bruised legs. Nothing too major.
Nothing too major. Okay. And how would you assess your performance so far?
It's gradually elevating. I'm still a rookie. I ain't really my feet not in the water yet. So I just look at it as a growing process. Just learning how offenses read me. And just getting a feel for a college atmosphere. Like I said again, I'm still trying to get used to it. So, I look at it as a great opportunity to get out there.
Thank you.
Next question, David Kelly, KVOA.
Hey, Jackson, you mentioned Christian Young. How tough was it to kind of have to go out there at Washington without him and Jarius back there?
It's kind of tough, but we always got guys backed up. Our depth is pretty good. So with that being said, those two cats right there is a big impact in our program, at the safety position. But, our depth doesn't fall too short. So, we always got the next man up.
What's been the most eye-opening thing for you over these first two games?
Eye-opening thing for me is just going out there and playing fast. Really, some offenses move fast, like USC. They was moving very fast. So, we had to get back in and really they had a great tempo. And then Washington, on the other hand, was very slow. So, you just got to get a feel for the game and then adjust at that.
And break down that 65-yard play you guys gave up in the first quarter. It looked like you were on the left side. You guys were playing man, and the right side might have been playing zone. What was the setup on that play defensively?
It was just a great call by the offense. We had zoned off, and we had no underneath defenders because they sent the running back out, so the linebacker went with him. So it was just a great offensive play call to a great defensive play call. So it was just a great counter.
You were the safety on that side. Were you supposed to follow that receiver, or were you supposed to stay kind of neutral on that left side?
Nah, I was man, like you said. I had a man vertical, so the underneath defender, he was just wide open, and then it was a great play.
Right. Thanks, brother.
Next question, Justin Spears, Arizona Daily Star.
As a guy who's from the SoCal area, how important is this game this weekend?
Well, the USC and UCLA games is always fun to me, and it's like I take it as personal. Like as a kid from SoCal, the IE, and you don't recruit in your backyard, I take it very personal. Every kid wants to go to their hometown school, so I'm not gonna say too much about it. I'm just go out there, play my game, and just show them what I could do.
And were you UCLA or USC, or what was your fandom like?
Well, for me, it was always UCLA basketball and USC football. So, I like two sports. So, it was hand in hand. I didn't really stick to one.
And how has basketball helped you as a football player?
Defensive slides, how we keep the man in front of you. You got to keep your man in front of you in football the same way. You got different jump ball techniques, So it's just hand to hand, some certain stuff go. good together while you playing man-to-man football, you know.
And with Thanksgiving this week, what are you thankful for in 2020?
Man, I'm thankful for a lot of stuff. To be honest, I'm thankful for my family, you know, God allowing me to play this game that I love, and also the Arizona program for taking me in, you know.
Next question will go Rich Herrera, Wildcats Radio 1290.
Hi, Jackson. Thank you. Quick question. 2 tough losses, one close, one not so close. What's the morale like of the team, and what have you guys kind of rallied together and taken those losses and tried to build on them?
You know, nobody likes losing. That's a tough one. But at the end of the day, we got to move past it, you know, be that team we were. You know, we still that team. We still got that team chemistry. You know, it was a tough loss, you know, came in Monday, a couple of heads down. But, you know, we got that spirit right back up, you know, and we just going to keep moving. You know, we got to be that team we was the whole 6-week little fall camp. You know, that team, we came out there, fought hard against USC. You know, we came ready to play against Washington, you know, just a little slow. We had a slow start, but, you know, we're going to pick that up week 3.
Let's talk a little bit about UCLA. Give us a preview of what they do on offense, what you've seen. And, you know, first week it was DTR. Last week it was the backup. We're not sure who you're going to see this week. How do you guys prepare?
Well, you know, we're just going to continue watching film. You know, they overfed Felton, number 10. You know, he is a very great player, you know, but at the end of the day, one player can't beat us. So, you know, we're just going to come together as a team, all 11 of us, and we're going to come out and just play hard.
Real quick, have you ever been to the Rose Bowl before as a kid growing up in the IE?
Yeah, I went once on a school field trip. I forgot what game it was, but I went once.
Thank you.
Next question, Alec White, Arizona Daily Star.
Yeah, hi Jackson. What's it been like, the defensive backs being coached by Greg Burns, new arrival? We haven't heard really much about him, so just what's it been like playing for him this season?
That's a great guy. He has a lot of knowledge to the game. You know, he brings different energy. You know, and at the end of the day, you just want to soak up the energy that lots of different coaches bring. Like Coach Meat came in, he recruited me, gave me this knowledge. You know, and Coach Burns came from USC, Oregon State. You know, still Pac-12. You know, it just brings different knowledge and different techniques. You know, you just want to use that and build it up and use multiple whenever you get the chance to.
What's been one of the takeaways, something that you've learned this year from him that you didn't know before coming into this season?
Well, like I said again, I'm still new. You know, I'm trying to get my feet wet in the college football atmosphere. You know, so he's trying to calm me down. You know, keep me poised, and while reading the tackle boxes, triggering faster on runs, you know, reading my tackle box keys when tight ends and tackles block down, you know, the trigger, you know, just stuff like that. Keep my eyes where they're supposed to be and not in the backfield.
And then just last one. Last year there was a lot of we've heard a lot of miscommunication between defensive backs and safeties on coverages last season. What have you guys done this year to clean that up?
We came more together as a group this year. You know, everybody's on the same page. Everybody wants to win. You know, call each other brothers in the DB room. So, you know, we just got that brotherhood bond, and, you know, we're going to keep going forward as the season goes on and take it into next year.
Thank you.
Final questions for Jackson will come back from Michael Lev.
Jackson, did you say that you were maybe a little bit upset that you didn't get offered by UCLA or USC?
Yeah, I mean, as a SoCal kid, yeah, I take it kind of personal that I'm in your hometown. I got to go to a different state to play football. But at the end of the day, you know, it's a recruiting process. You know, can't dwell on it too much. You know, can only take what the opportunity takes you, and, you know, be the best me I can be at Arizona.
Sure. Did you have any Division I offers in basketball?
I had a couple mid-majors in California, not too much though.
Which schools?
Like Cal State Fullertons and Cal Polys and stuff like that.
Is that anything that did you ever seriously consider playing basketball instead of football in college?
Nah, I always wanted me to have more opportunities. My dad always said, you know, just don't set myself on one sport. You know, 2 sports is like the best opportunity to get multiple offers, you know, and have a better college future for myself.
Do you like football better than basketball? Like, why did you choose football instead?
I chose football because, well, I chose to go to a bigger school and play both. That was my goal. So I came here to get that opportunity to play basketball. Hopefully, I still get that opportunity, but I chose football to play scholarship football, which I love, and walk on possibly earn a scholarship in basketball too as well.
Where does that sort of thing stand? I know it's really tricky, especially with the schedule this year, but is it something you're looking to maybe do in the future?
Yes, of course. I still haven't given up on basketball yet. It's another love of mine. So hopefully next year after this little COVID season passes by, I could get in the loop in basketball next year.
Sure. Do you think you're the best basketball player in the football team?
Yeah, I can say that.
What position did you play primarily, and who would you compare your game to?
Oh, that's a tough one. I played the point guard though. Compare my game to right now, I'll probably say like a Damian Lillard maybe.
Okay. Outside shooter,
Yeah.
cold-blooded, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I got the ice in my veins.
Okay. Thanks a lot, man.
All right, thanks, Jaxen.
Appreciate
Next
you.
up will be Aaron Blackwell. All right, questions for Aaron Blackwell, please begin raising hands. We'll start with Michael Lev.
Hey there, Aaron.
How's it going?
Good. When you look back at the film of the Washington game, specifically, the line of scrimmage battle between your front and their offensive line, what did you see?
I thought we matched up very well. We had a lot of positives that we saw from the D-line specifically. Going back over the film, we saw it was really a collective effort just from the defense entirely of everyone. We preach everyone has to do their job all across the board. If one guy's out of his gap in our defense, and with a team like that who's very disciplined in their run game, very disciplined in their play action game, they'll exploit that. And we kind of noticed that pretty early on what can happen.
Sure. You guys did have one sack in that game, but only one sack so far this season. No takeaways as a defense. How much of a difference would it make, do you think, if you guys were able to generate a little bit more pressure, maybe take the ball away a time or two?
Immensely. I know our focus going into the season was we were going to shut down the run game, and we preached that all off season. And I think we've done that pretty well, at least, early on when we're competing in the early start of the game. One thing that we're noticing now, though, is if we stop the run, we make these teams throw, we need to make them throw quick to get these turnovers. And if we can't get pressure on the quarterback or make them uneasy back there, they're just going to end up exploiting that and throwing all over us. So it's something that we're really focusing on, especially going into UCLA.
Sure. I think Coach Sumlin mentioned that, you guys actually got them into some advantageous situations for the defense early in the game, right? 3rd and longs. And then they ended up converting those. Is that maybe an underrated element of what happened in that game?
It's almost like it's exciting for us to see because I feel like what we've noticed as a defense, we do really good on 1st and 2nd down. We put them in 3rd down situations. But it's almost like we're missing that last piece of the puzzle to get off the field in that 3rd down because we get into a 1st down, 2nd down, 3rd and long, and then we always seem to end up losing that. So I think going into practice this week, especially yesterday when we were cleaning up, we're noticing that that's a huge thing that we need to correct. And if we can get that figured out, I think our defense will really see a turning point.
Next question will go David Kelly.
Aaron, what's kind of obviously you have a very interesting beard thing going on there. What's kind of the history of that? Is that as long as it gets? Has it been longer? And how do people kind of react to that?
It's the longest it's got. I've always wanted to see how I could do it, so I've been letting it grow out and trying to get it going here. But this is the best it gets, I think. I'm doing the no shave November, and then I think when December hits, we'll see if we can get some corrections going on it because it's getting a little out of hand.
Do people ever say like, hey, you might have a future as a Santa Claus down the road? I mean,
The Santa Claus jokes have been pouring in. I'm not gonna lie to you; they've been hitting pretty hard. So I gotta start making some left turns here.
So is this the first year you've run it, or did you have that in New Mexico State or New Mexico as well, or?
I had a smaller one, but this is definitely the longest it's ever gotten. I've never let it get this scraggly before, so it's been fun to see. But it might be time to ditch it.
How's the management been of it?
It's been tough. I'm learning a lot. Getting on some YouTube videos, learning about trimming and stuff. So I'm trying to become a self barber, but it's just not really in my genes yet. So we'll see how it goes.
And just kind of what's the morale, obviously, of the team after a tough loss like what you guys suffered in Seattle?
Yeah, it's been tough. You see something like that. I've been at a couple games like that before, unfortunately, in my time in New Mexico. So I've been trying to tell the guys, hey, you can either sit on this and let it become the norm, or you can, take a chop to the mouth and come back and work even harder, and you can turn into a positive. So we're seeing how guys will hit that this week in practice.
Thanks.
Next question, Rich Herrera.
Thanks so much. We were talking with Roy Lopez a couple weeks ago, and he talked about you two actually knew each other, wrestled in high school. So when you showed up and he showed up, what was it like with the two New Mexico State guys find themselves in Tucson?
It was pretty hilarious. We kind of looked at each other like, wow. We both had some pretty interesting roads to get here. But it was just great, seeing especially guys like us, who grew up in Arizona, being able to come back to a school that, every kid in AZ grows up looking up to and wants to be a part of. It was a really special moment to see us both get here, especially since we had the roads that we did, going to New Mexico, different schools, and then ended up back here for our last years. It's been just really, really neat moment.
Let me follow up with what you're talking about being an AZ kid. For your family, your friends, getting a chance to see you wear the Block A, what's it meant to them?
It's huge. It's something I didn't really think about, coming here, like the effect it would have, but it's almost been like I have friends from high school who I haven't spoken to in, 5-6 years. And all of a sudden we're reconnecting over something that's really special. It's kind of like that, really unique thing that we all have growing up in Arizona and being part of the Arizona community. And it just reminds you just how tight-knit we all are growing up in a state like this.
Talking about the defensive line, like you said, real stout against the run, the pass. But one of the things I'm wondering about is the defensive line and the rotation and staying fresh. Have you guys talked about how the rotation goes and making sure that you have the same energy level of beginning of the game and at the end of the game?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's been great. It's one thing I'm kind of new to because, back at the University of New Mexico, we didn't really have a good rotation. I think we had 5 or 6 guys, and it ended up being, I think the most snacks I ever took was about 62 versus Wisconsin. Here I'm taking 25, maybe 30 at most, and that's just reminds you just how fresh you can stay in a game like this. But we have a really great rotation going on. Last week we actually got some of the freshmen in, get them some experience, and they were really, enthralled by that and motivated. So I think we're seeing a lot of guys who didn't think that they were going to get to play. But we feel really confident about the energy level and staying healthy throughout the time we're in.
One last thing. This is for the radio pregame show. Can you talk a little bit about UCLA, what they do on offense, and what your keys are?
Yeah, obviously, we're watching the film from last week. They're very dual threat. They can run, they can pass. Their running back, Felton, looked really good. We saw him shine really well last week. Their backup quarterback, Griffin, I thought he played excellent. Whoever does end up starting, I think we're going to be ready for both of them. Just look at their O-line. I know their left tackle, number 74, he looked outstanding too. A guy that we're going to be really keen on, try to get some stuff going there. But really exciting offense. It's Chip Kelly. We're excited to play. The guy's a master of the game, so we're just really excited to play against him.
Great. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Next question, Justin Spears.
When you wrestled Roy, in what setting was it? Was it a playoff, just a normal match?
We were at the Peoria tournament. It's a big wrestling tournament here in the state at Peoria High School. I can't remember what year. I think it was either 2014 or going into 2015, somewhere around that time.
Hmm. And what was wrestling like for you in high school? What was your record?
I think my senior year, I want to say 32-3, somewhere around that. Wrestling was great. It was a really fun kind of in-between sports things to keep your body fresh. Had a really great time. My wrestling program at Liberty was outstanding with Coach Brent and those guys. They've been doing great. I think they've won a couple state championships since then. It's just a huge sport. It was so much fun.
And did you have any college offers for wrestling?
I did. Nothing too serious. It's kind of like I had GCU back when they had their wrestling program still going on, a couple from New York, stuff like that. But it was never a real option. I was a big football guy, but it was just a great sport to kind of do in between.
And, last week was the first time you guys were able to travel and be on the road. What was that like, just kind of the moments leading up to when you guys played that game?
It was great. It was real exciting to see. It's the first time I've ever been in Seattle, so it was really eye-opening to kind of be part of a different state like that. With COVID restrictions, it was still kind of weird, not being able to do too much, being really safe and not exposing yourself to a lot of things. It was great just to be part of that, though, and kind of get out of Tucson for a bit. We've been so cooped up here just practicing here, so it's kind of nice to be out in a different setting playing football.
And as you know, this year has not been normal, but out of all the things that you can think of this year, with Thanksgiving coming up, what are you thankful for?
I think what I'm thankful for is just being alive. You know what I mean? Thankful for my health, thankful for my family's health, thankful for, the country that I live in, the times that we're living in. Just being thankful that, there's a future that we can all be a part of.
Thank you.
Final questions for Aaron. We'll go Michael Lev.
Aaron, would your parents or any family members normally go on a road trip?
Oh, yeah. My dad, he tries to go on every road trip. He loves seeing the new stadiums and being a part of it.
So not being able to do that for this last game, was that hard?
Yeah, it was tough, especially for him. He was heartbroken. He wants to go to every Pac-12 game we have. He was so excited about being part of this and doing all that. So it's been a real hard loss on that. But I'm thankful that we have most of our games televised and the family can see. But yeah, it's been rough.
Sure. And did he and others come down for the home game?
Yeah, I got my immediate family came down. They were blown away about how our school handled that and very thankful that they had that opportunity.
Sure. What have they told you about how you guys are going to do Thanksgiving on Thursday?
It's still a mystery. I haven't got the update yet on it. I believe we're trying to not send kids home. We're trying to keep exposure very little. God forbid someone brings something back and we have to cancel. So we're all being very smart about it, but we're also being mindful that we have families and we want to, share those experiences with everybody. So I'm sure Coach will have something on top of it for us.
Sure. Okay. Shifting back to football and your situation real quick. Do you feel like you're 100% recovered from the knee injury out there?
Yeah. The first game you were kind of thinking about it, but once the adrenaline kicked in and, you're back moving around, you felt great. There is some extreme tendonitis I'm dealing with that just, it's nothing that can hurt you. You just got to remind yourself it's just, real bad pain. Anyone who's had tendonitis knows what it is. So just taking your anti-inflammatories and doing a lot of stretching keeps that at bay. But I feel the sturdiness is there, the strength is there, and you're always trying to make sure you're staying on top of your rehab, make sure nothing happens.
Sure. And then finally, you've been rotating with Trayvon Mason. I assume you guys are competing for reps in practice. What has that competition been like? How does it bring out the best in both of you? It's
been great. The best part about it is we're kind of splitting reps almost. So we're, it's not really like a, trying to one up each other. It's more like constructive. We get on the sideline, we talk about what guys are doing, how we can get better. We're feeding off each other. We're both trying to get our pass rush right now. This is the first we're both playing that 4-eye position. So we're both still learning how we can get better pass rush out of that, switching from run and kind of converting off that. So it's been a really good learning experience for both of us.
What did you call it? 4-eye?
4-eye, yeah. So you're in the inside shade of the tackle. So you kind of do that to stop the run, but then when you read pass, you need to get back outside to get contained. So we're both trying to figure out the best way of doing that, and we're learning as we go along.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you, Aaron. Our final player for today will be Bryce Wolma. All right, questions for Bryce, please raise your hand. We'll start with Michael Lev.
Hey there, Bryce. You're the closest thing we're getting to an offensive lineman this week, so you'll have to serve as the spokesman for that group. What, after looking at the film, especially of the pass protection, what do you think? What are the areas where you feel like the group as a whole needs to get better to keep Grant clean?
Yeah, I mean, I think that it was definitely, especially watching the film back, that was an area that Washington kind of exploited us in. But honestly, I give a lot of to Washington's D line too. Those were that front seven and that front four especially were some of the most talented and physical players that I've gone up against since I've been here too, for sure. So I know that the tackles had a big job on their plate, but I know that's a huge emphasis going into practice this week is really just shaping some things up, especially in the pass pro aspect to really clean up those edges, because I know as an offense, it was we were trying to do some things, but we just down the field, we just didn't really have enough time. So that's definitely been an aspect that we're focusing on.
Sure. And individually, what did you take away from your blocking in that game, and how can you get a little bit better in that area as well?
Yeah, I think I had some good blocks and then some blocks that definitely could have gone better. Especially when I'm attached and I'm kind of down blocking. My head positioning, I think, is something that, especially when I watch the film, if I get my head in the wrong side of someone, then they just split me. And that happened a couple times in the Washington game. So I think that's, for me personally, blocking wise, that's something that I'm going to focus on this week.
Sure. Grant seemed pretty flustered at times during the late third quarter, early fourth quarter, especially. He rebounded late. How did you think he handled that whole situation? Coach Sumlin was saying he'd never really, been in a game quite like that before.
I mean, it's tough, obviously. I mean, he's still a young kid, and it's, his first real start on the road like that. And quarterback, I mean, it's the hardest position on the field. And it's really frustrating too, because a lot of things weren't really in his control. The looks maybe weren't what we expected, and the pressures off the edge, he wasn't having a lot of time. So I know he was definitely frustrated back there, but I think that overall he handled it well. And I mean, just as an offense, we gotta do a better job of just helping him out, not kind of relieve some stress off his plate, because he was definitely dealing with a lot.
Next question, Justin Spears.
So what was it like just traveling and all the events leading up to the game on Saturday?
It was interesting. I was kind of talking to a lot of the guys on the team, actually. I think this was the first time that any of us have been up to UW. Or a lot of us, at least, maybe Lorenzo or someone. But so it was interesting. And I remember we landed at like 5 o'clock and it was already pitch black out. I was like, what the heck? I wasn't used to the sun setting so early. But it was a good trip. I think that we were focused and dialed in. But it was my first time in Seattle. It was a cool place, for sure.
And obviously, you couldn't really see Seattle like a normal trip. But I mean, were you guys kind of hunkered down in your hotel room? What was just everything like it just before the game?
Yeah, with everything going on with COVID and stuff, we're not allowed to leave the hotel or anything like that, and not really allowed to hang out in other guys' rooms for contact tracing and things like that either. So we kind of had to admire from our windows a little bit, but it was still fun.
And this week is Thanksgiving. What's Thanksgiving like in the Wolma household?
Well, usually we have a bunch of family back home in Michigan come over, and we have a big dinner. But actually, it's been nice the past 3 years. I actually have some extended family in Scottsdale, and so my family from Michigan have came down, and we rented an Airbnb down in Tucson, and kind of had my extended family come down the last 3 years. So that's been nice. But this year with COVID and parents not being able to come to some of the games, and especially this week, I'm unfortunately not going to be able to do that. But that's kind of what it's looked like the past couple of years.
Are the Lions a big deal in your house?
Well, it's hard. That's one of my hardest things to deal with, being a Lions fan. They've been disappointing me my whole life. So I like to think I'm a bandwagon Cardinals fan now that I'm in Arizona.
And this year has been tough for everyone, but when you look back on just this entire year, what are you thankful for?
I'm thankful for my family, for sure. I'm lucky to have, a mom and dad and sister that I really care about and I love, and especially my mom. My relationship with my mom is fantastic. I'm definitely a mama's boy. She's my rock. I call her every day. Still, since I've been in college, I've called her every day, and we always have a little 10, 15-minute conversation and stuff at night. So that's definitely what I'm thankful for.
And usually, what are those conversations about?
Just anything, life. I feel really blessed to be able to have just open conversations with her about, maybe things I'm struggling with, football, school, just things back home. I do miss home sometimes, definitely. So she updates me on things that are happening back in Michigan and stuff like that.
Thank you.
Next question, David Kelly.
Hey, Bryce, how much do you watch the other team's offense when you're in a game? And I guess, is it frustrating sometimes to see what, a team like Washington's doing with Cade Otton and saying, man, why is that not us?
Yeah, I mean, I think I do watch opposing offenses just as a default of cheering on our defense. But, Washington's definitely a great example of, how they use the tight ends. They have 3 or 4 in the game sometimes. And sure, I was like, man, watching Cade Otton, he had like 100 yards and a touchdown. So yeah, it's definitely a little frustrating at times. But you just got to keep your head forward. So.
Could you do some of those things like they have him standing up kind of wide? Could you play like that if they wanted you to?
I mean, I would definitely like to believe so. I think that I can do both, and especially my background in high school, I was really basically a receiver. I didn't really do much blocking, and so the whole blocking thing was kind of new when I came here. So I would say that I'm actually more natural in the pass game, route running and things like that. So I definitely do think I could do that.
What do you think? I mean, I think a lot of us thought maybe that with the change to Grant now, more traditional quarterback, we might see a little bit more of you guys utilized. Why would you say we haven't seen that maybe so far in these first 2 games?
That's a good question. I don't really know, to be honest. I just think that sometimes when you get into games and things aren't going our way or doing the things that we expected or game plan for, you kind of just got to slow things down a little bit. And especially coming out in the second half, like for example in the game last week, we really wanted to try and tempo them. And so when we try to go really fast in tempo, a lot of the times that's in 10 personnel. So that's when the tight end's not in the game. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's a combination of a lot of things, maybe some things out of my control I don't really know about. But yeah, that's all I'll say about that.
Thanks, brother.
Next question is Rich Herrera.
Thanks so much. Can you talk about the senior leadership and the upperclassmen and how they're rallying around together? It's not the way you wanted the season to start. What have you seen as far as the upperclassmen stepping up and trying to make sure everybody has a good attitude? Yeah,
I mean, that's definitely our job as upperclassmen to be those leaders, and especially freshmen who haven't experienced it. It's kind of especially last week, a rough start to the season. So I think that just keeping guys motivated. And the way we've kind of looked at it is this week or this year with everything that's gone on, it's almost like a free season in a sense, where it doesn't hurt anyone's eligibility. It's just a great opportunity to get guys experience, get familiar with the game and really just gain confidence. And so I think that going forward, we're just trying to tell guys, just go out and have fun and be confident in your abilities. So just sending that message, especially to the younger guys, is important.
How hard is it to block out all the negativity that might be coming in from outside the program?
I mean, it's tough. It definitely is. We hear you can't really go on social media or even like our Instagram posts and things like that, all the comments. But I mean, we just can't pay attention to that. It's all about us. That's a phrase we use. It's, really what happens inside the walls here at Arizona football is really all that matters to us. And things people say and things like that shouldn't affect us, how we play or, how we feel.
Just a couple questions for our radio pregame show. Glenn Howell is one of our analysts. He's always talking about you and the role of the tight ends. Can you talk a little bit about the role of the tight ends and what you guys as a position group want to achieve in the game? Yeah,
I think that, UCLA, they run a lot of split safety, a lot of zone coverage. So I think that especially, for the tight ends, we're going to look to kind of exploit that a little bit. And even as an offense, just pick the zone coverage apart, find spots in the zone coverage that, we can sit, maybe not even all the way down the field, even if it's just like a 5-yard route, just, find that space in the coverage. So that's definitely going to be in the game plan this week.
Great. Thank you so much.
Final questions will be Michael Lev.
Bryce, do you go up against Jaxen Turner in practice?
I do, yes. He's a. Oh, do you have a question for that?
Yeah, I say, well, like, what's that matchup like? What kind
Yeah.
of player is he?
I love. We call him Jack. I love Jackson. He's he's a player that been kind of plagued by injury a little bit, especially early in his career here. So it's finally, great to start to see him kind of open up and start playing a little bit. But I think he's, his build is really good. He can move really well. The one thing about him is one-on-ones is really tough. He's great in man-to-man coverage. So, that's always great work. And then he's also physical in the run game. So I think that his energy and his kind of spirit on the defense is a really good thing.
So you guys, you have faced UCLA 3 times. You've beaten them twice, and you lost by 1 point in the game that Rhett started at the Rose Bowl. Does that give you any sort of confidence heading into this game? Is it relevant in any way?
Yeah, I mean, I think it definitely does. We go back and look at previous year's games all the time when we scout for opponents. So that's definitely just a little confidence booster, knowing that we've been here before and we can beat these guys. And I honestly feel like we feel that with all the teams on our schedule. But I think it definitely helps knowing the previous success that we've had against them.
Sure. How do you keep the losing streak from getting to you psychologically, mentally?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the same kind of thing with like negative publicity and things like that. You just kind of got to block it out. I mean, if we stay focused on losing streak, then that's just going to take away from the preparation. It's going to screw up our mental focus on game planning and stuff like that. Like, I mean, in reality, the only thing we can do is go out in this week and prepare to win. And so what we've done in the past to this point doesn't matter. And so we just got to kind of block that out and focus on winning this week.
Sure. And you mentioned your close relationship with your mom. Would your mom or other family members normally go on a road trip like last week?
My mom has been to every football game of mine since I was 8 years old, home and away, high school, college. So past week at Washington was her first game that she missed because there were no fans allowed. So she was really bummed about that. And then my dad too has been to every game but one. He missed the Hawaii game last year, but yeah, she was definitely really upset about that. She's always been in the stands.
Is that hard for you and your teammates to not have that support, even if it's just, getting to visit with them for an hour or so at the hotel before the game?
For sure. I definitely think it is. I think that's, a lot of guys look forward to that. A lot of guys are really close with their families and, just that support, knowing they're there, even though that, maybe they can't really see them or things like that. Just knowing they're there and having that time just to communicate and talk to them kind of puts them at ease, especially with me, it does. Kind of puts me in a more comfortable zone. So I think that not having them there is it's definitely interesting. Guys are walk around on FaceTime all the time, talking to their families in the hotel. So it's a little bit different atmosphere for sure.
Thanks, man.
All right. Thank you.